Good morning. Hi, this is Professor Marsh, and this is Lesson 8 on income, all about income. So we're working on the income tax, and this is where we're going to look at income. So if you would please go to your computer and go to the Link and Learn taxes, and when you're at the TCE Vita page, and there'll be a link to this in the materials as well in Wolf Den. But when you get to the main page for the Link and Learn, and you click on the e-learning, and then click to see the content of each course. And if you'll go down to the bottom of the page, you're going to choose one of the certification paths, either basic or advanced. And so I'm going to click on advanced. If you click on basic, that's fine. You get to a list of the various lessons for the workouts for each material, as well as other materials in addition to the workouts. So I'm going to click on number 8, which is income, wages, interest, etc. So click on that, and then you'll see a page on teaching to the advanced course or to the basic course. And at the bottom of the page, you're going to see a training toolkit. Now, this will have everything that you need to do lesson number 8. And it will also show you basically how to do the other topics as well. So we're going to have either 3 or 5 videos that we're going to look at for income, and we're going to have maybe a half a dozen or so skills workouts. So I'm going to just take a look at the training toolkit at the bottom of the page. We'll see the skills workout is the first button that you can click on. Then there's a certification warm-up, which is just the last few pages of the skills workout. So if you click on the skills workout, you don't have to click on the certification workout. Then we have media, videos, and audio. And sadly, the media that they have collected in this training toolkit, those videos have gone out of date. They're no longer available on YouTube. So if you click on those and then click on the links on the next page, you're going to find out that those videos are no longer there. Then there's also the TaxSlayer tutorial, and we're going to take a look at that and talk about that as well. Then there are job aids. The job aids are basically a list of IRS publications and resources. And then there's a practice lab, which is a link to the TaxSlayer practice lab. So those are your various resources that you have here in the training toolkit. I'm going to click on the first one, which is the skills workout. And when I click on that, it's 37 pages, as you can see at the bottom of the page. And there's also a written income lesson from publication 4491. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is just click on that income lesson workout, and you'll see there's 16 pages of information about income. And on the first page, they have a listing of the certification courses and which topics are included in the basic, advanced, military, and international certifications. And what you'll see is the difference between the basic and the advanced items is that the advanced course includes information about unreported tips. And so if you're a tax preparer and one of your customers comes in, one of your taxpayer customers comes in and has unreported tips or has business income or capital gains and losses or K1 income, then they're going to need an advanced preparer. So if you do the advanced certification, you're going to be able to handle all of that. For military, rental income and military income are additional topics. And then for international, if you're getting the international certification, then you're going to also study foreign earned income. And so this is a nice, this page two of, or I'm sorry, page one of the wages and interest. This is a nice guide for how we're going to learn about income and then also some of the deductions in either the basic or the advanced course. So uh, everyone takes lesson number 8, and so let's continue through this, and you can see some basic questions that you might have as far as income, what's taxable, what's not taxable, and it gives you some examples, but it also gives you links to other resources at the IRS, how to get started, how to report wages, salaries, and tips, all that stuff. I would probably go through these 16 pages and just kind of scan through and look at the questions that are answered. But don't try to memorize everything in these 16 pages. You're going to have an opportunity as you do the work to refer back to these guides. And so you'll be able to learn as you do. You'll learn from the examples. So just skim all 16 pages and then go ahead and click out of that and go back to the next page of the skills workout. So we'll go to page 2 of the skills. I've clicked out of publication 4491. I'm back on page 1 and I'm going to click to page number 2. And let's see if it'll take me there. It does. And it takes me to the intake interview and quality review sheet. So this is the portion of Form 13614-C where you enter information about whether the taxpayer has different types of this income. And so depending on the type of income they have, it will direct you to who can prepare these types of returns. It will also direct you to the type of form that the taxpayer should be able to give to you to show you the income that they have, and it will also cue you on additional questions to ask the taxpayer to make sure that you have documentation for it. Then if we go to the next page, page 3, on the skills workout, you'll see that we have a skills warm-up on workout resources. And it asks you which section of the completed intake interview and quality review sheet should indicate which forms W-2 and forms 1099 the taxpayer received. And if you want to look back, you can look back and you can see that part 3 of income is what you just looked at on the prior page, or you can just click on income and that'll give you the correct answer. And like all of these questions, if you click on the wrong one, you can click on another one until you get the correct answer. And sometimes the explanations for why something is the wrong answer helps you understand better why the correct answer is in fact correct. Then on the next page, this is page 4 on your skills workout for income, you've got the income job aids from publication 4012. So this is also included in the job aids that are on the page that we were on prior to clicking on lesson 8 when we were back at the when we were at the first page of lesson 8 and looking at the various materials that were available before we clicked on the skills workout. But anyhow, you can see that you've got hot links here to all sorts of explanations about how to how to enter things and how to treat different types of income, both what's taxable and what's not taxable. Let's go on to page number 5. Now, page number 5, you've got a listing of 7 different types, 7 perhaps of the most common types of income that your client, LaDonna, pictured there with her long brown hair, has, and 4 of them are taxable and 3 of them are non-taxable. Can you spot the ones that are taxable and which are not taxable? Well, maybe take a shot at which ones you think are taxable and which ones are non-taxable, and then look below for the explanation. They'll give you the answer when you click on that next box, and you'll see which ones are taxable and which ones are not taxable. So take a look at that and learn that. And then there's a question about types of income and under what circumstances must a person report taxable income. look at all the answers. They all start with always, but there are exceptions for B, C, and D. And one of those exceptions, I'll give you a clue, is the correct answer. So I think if you read them carefully, you'll be able to figure that out on your own. But again, if you get it wrong, just click around until you get to the correct answer and read the explanation for the ones that are the wrong answers. You'll see that some of the explanations for the wrong answers are just that this isn't the answer. But anyhow, take a look at that. Then there is another question about types of income. Which types of the following types of income are exempt from federal taxes? And you'll see that on page 7. And then on page 8, there's also another one, which of the following types are taxable, and you'll see that. And this is just to kind of get you to be familiar with the idea that there are going to be some records that the taxpayer has of money that they've received that were income in the economic sense, but they're not taxable income. So certain types of veterans benefits and child support and workers' compensation are not taxable. And you can see that either by reading that long explanation, that's 16 pages of the IRS's explanation, or you can learn it but just by seeing these examples. And I think learning from the examples is easier. Okay, now when we get to page 9, there's an explanation on how to enter a W-2 income, and that you can click and see a review on how and where to enter income, and it kind of shows you how to do that based on the TaxSlayer software. But I'm probably thinking that at this point you probably don't need to learn that much about the TaxSlayer software. You're going to get a much better example of it when you look at the TaxSlayer tutorial on basic income part 1. So we'll get to that at the end of the presentation. The next page, page 10, gives you a skills warm-up on what to do about a missing Form W-2 and what should the taxpayer do first when they're missing their W-2. And you'll see the correct answer to that as you click on the boxes. And then let's go on to page 11. Pages 11 and 12 deal with household employees and also unreported tip income. Begins on page 12 and goes through page 14. And tip income is something that if there are reported tips as a basic preparer, you can deal with it. If there are unreported tips, then you need an advanced preparer. So that's one of the differences between basic and advanced. In case study number 1, you have questions about unreported tips. This is, I think, on pages 15 through 17. They have some questions about unreported tips versus reported tips. And you'll see those questions, and you can do those warm-ups. And then on page 18, you have a question about scholarship income. And that goes on to page 19. And then on page 20 through page 26, they have questions about interest. And first, interest in general, then some of the peculiarities about U.S. savings bonds and how they're taxed, and then U.S. savings bonds with co-owners and how to report interest income. So that goes on through page 26. And then you have some questions about dividends. And you have various exercises to do for dividend distributions and the Form 1099 div. And then also a question in particular that's of interest to me is capital gain dividends or distributions. Those are quite common in clients who own mutual funds. Now, our clientele probably, if they have capital gains, they probably would be on distributions from mutual funds and not from purchases and sales of individual stocks and things of that nature. So anyhow, again, capital gains generally that are reported on broker statements are typically part of the advanced course. and not part of the basic course, but you will get capital gain dividend distributions on some of our clients. Then you have some questions about state and local refunds, and state and local tax income tax refunds can be taxable if you itemized in a prior year. So if you took an itemized deduction and got a benefit from a state and local tax refund, then when you receive the refund, you have to report it. So that's on pages 31 and 30 and 31. And then on page 32, there's a question about alimony, and alimony that if you have a decree in 2018 or in prior years, alimony is taxable to the recipient and deductible by the payor. But if you have a divorce decree or separation or settlement that includes alimony for years after 2018, then those are not taxable. They're not taxable income to the recipient. They're not deductible by the payor. So that was a change in the rule that came in with the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act. Then on the next page, you've got on page 33, you've got the out-of-scope situations for the Vita and TCE, and you'll see that these are situations where neither the basic nor the advanced preparers can handle, and these are really complicated sorts of things. If you got farm income, which we could have around Newberry, or we could have taxpayers who are affected by the additional Medicare tax for very high income taxpayers. You've got taxpayers who use the accrual method in their business, taxpayers who buy and sell non-covered bonds. These are really complicated financial investments and transactions and things of that nature. So anyhow, and sadly, ministers who have parsonage or housing allowances, we can't help them either. So that's a list of out of scope situations for the Vita program. Then on pages 34 through 36, you have the certification warm-up to get you ready for the certification exam. And then you have a link to, on page 37, to the TaxSlayer training video. And what you'll find is that's a 12-minute video that gives you a great explanation of how to use the TaxSlayer software. And you can refer to that anytime you have a question in doing the work in TaxSlayer. So please take a look at that tutorial. And again, remember that the YouTube video links that are suggested there on the introductory page for lesson number 8 are now gone. Now, if you're taking the basic test, you're going to want to repeat what you just did for lesson 8, and also do the following videos. Well, before I do that, let me also suggest that after you've done lesson 8, go take a look on the basic test on form 6744 if you're going to take the basic test at questions 10 and 11, and see if you can answer those questions. Those are 2 of the basic questions about income. And if you're taking the advanced test, take a look at questions 6, 7, and 8. And there are, for both of the basic and advanced questions, there are questions about income in the case studies that we'll do in the TaxSlayer software when we're ready to do that. Then after doing that, also take a look at business income, which is topic number 9, lesson 9, capital gain, which is lesson 10, and K1 income and rental income, which is lesson 12. And do that if you're going to do the advanced test. Now, all of you, both basic and advanced, should also do the skills warm-up for lesson 11, which is retirement income, lesson 13, which is unemployment compensation, Lesson 14, which is Social Security income, and Lesson 15, which is other income. And for the lessons 9 and 10 and 12, you're going to have advanced tax topics part 1, and I'm sorry, and for the K1 income and rental income, that'll be advanced tax topics part 2, and those will all be TaxSlayer videos that you'll find at the listed lesson sites, and I've also pointed that out in your Wolfden prompt for this assignment. Then for the basic, if you're doing the basic course or the advanced course, you're going to want to look at basic income part 2, and basic income part 2 is going to have information about retirement income and Social Security income. That's for everyone. And then other income, which is lesson 15. There's a 1-minute YouTube video by a very nice lady from the IRS who has comments that she can make about miscellaneous income, and it only takes her 1 minute and 15 seconds. And I think after you play the video, there's also a commercial for the Vita TCE program that you can watch that's only about 20 seconds long, encouraging you to volunteer your services for Vita and TCE. So when we get finished with these lessons, I'm going to post an income summary lesson and a quiz, and then we're going to go on to adjustments to income and deductions. That's going to be lessons 17, 19, and 20. And the lesson 20, which is itemized deductions, are only for the people taking the advanced course. Then to finish up the J term, we'll look at credits and finishing the return, and we'll do that in the next series of videos. But for Unit 2, we're doing income and adjustments to income and deductions. So we'll have another video that I will post on adjustment to income and deductions in the next few days. Have a great day, and feel free, as always, to contact me if you have any questions, and good luck with your studies. Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.